Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala seyyidina Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecmain. In the name of Allah, the merciful, the compassionate, and from Him do we seek help. All praise be to Allah, the sustainer of all the worlds, and blessings and peace be upon our Master Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and on all his family and companions. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to our virtual panel discussion on the topic Brotherhood in Islam. This is the new topic, inshallah, we are going to cover in the coming few weeks. Before we start, this program is presented by the Lighthouse for Humanity organization. Lighthouse for Humanity is a non-profit organization committed to serve all people who seek to understand the meaning of life, the universe, and the individual by intellectual, social, and religious activities. This organization is a Muslim organization, provides spiritual guidance to people through intellectual and spiritual gatherings, and this is one of them, in which particular focus, which is the Brotherhood in Islam, is giving on the teachings of the Quran, Hadith, and the Risale-i Nur, a modern Quranic commentary, written by one of the great Muslim scholars of our time, Bediüzzaman Said Nursi. Inshallah, today in our panel discussion, we would like to dive in the details with two well-respected panelists, Professor Hikmet Budak from Arizona and Professor Nazif Durmaz. Welcome to our panel discussion. And inshallah, we're going to dive it. So before, inshallah, we really have an evening ahead of us, listening in our conversation with these panelists. As they share their contributions, inshallah, it can help us as overall to bring our brotherhood to a different level, much closer, inshallah, the way which Allah can be pleased with us. Because in our society, the healthy communication and dialogue between individuals is just as important as for the continuity and persistence of a society, because we are made up of healthy individuals. So by following in the coming weeks booklet, Brotherhood Treatise from the Letters book is a part of Quran Tefsir Risale-i Nur collection, written by Bediüzzaman Said Nursi. Let's dive in first few pages and we can stop somewhere to find out the Ustad diagnosis, solutions, remedies to make our relationship stronger, inshallah. What is it about this treatise? Just shortly, as few sentences, Bediüzzaman Said Nursi discusses three interrelated subjects about the social life in the 22nd letter of his book, Letters, Mektubat. So in the first chapter, which is what we are going to focus on, he's inviting the people of faith, believers, to the brotherhood and love. And this is the first part. And inshallah, we're going to try to make commentaries in this side. And so one of the reasons why Ustad is writing this treatise is giving a realization that the readers, brothers or sisters to sisters, may have a feeling in their inner world that is contrary to the principles of brotherhood and love, and to enable them to diagnose and treat this feeling, inshallah. This is like a spiritual doctor advices, and inshallah, we can dive in. So as this was the summary, and we're going to read from the details, inshallah, from the first part. 22nd letters. Bismihi subhanahu, in his name, glory be to him. Wa in min shayin illa yusabbihu bihamdihi, and there is not a single thing that does not glorify his praise. Quran 17:44. And there is not a single thing that does not glorify his praise. This letter consists of two discussions. The discussion invites believers to brotherhood and love for each other. First discussion, and we start bringing our attention some of the ayah from Quran here. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, in the name of Allah, the merciful, the giver of mercy. Innamal mu'minuna ikhwatun فَأَسْلِهُ بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ. short meaning, translation, believers are but brothers, so make peace between your two brothers. Quran 49:10. And another ayah from Quran, idfa' billati hiya ahsanu فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم. Repel evil with what is better. Then the one you are in faith with will be like a close friend. Quran 41:34. The final ayah, which we can also cover here, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. The Allah conscious, God conscious are those who restrain their anger and pardon people. Allah loves those who do good. Quran 31st 134 ayah. So let's read the introduction, and inshallah we can stop on the first aspect to get a little bit insights what it triggers in our internal life. And partisanship, obstinacy, and covetousness that cause discord, division, rancor, and enmity among believers are ugly, rejected, harmful, oppressive, and poisonous for social life from the point of view of reality, wisdom, Islam, which is the greatest humanity, personal life, social life, and spiritual life. Among utterly numerous aspects of this reality, we will elucidate 6. So we read it, the beginning and some of the ayah. It is very actually crucial and important, how healthy we are in our relationship with our brothers. What is the most common diseases in our communities, which also Ustad is mentioning in this treatise. And inshallah, this new topic can bring us a new understanding and increase our levels. So and also, we are living in a very unprecedented time. As we see, the Ummah is suffering in different parts of the world. In Palestine, may Allah help them and protect them and also give them victory. But in different parts of the world, Muslims are suffering. What are the causes and issues as a whole Muslim community, which we cannot do what is supposed to be as brothers? And this maybe we need to consider it and inshallah ask from Allah. So I would like to ask, before we begin, maybe I have an opening question for our panelists, for you all. What is the commonly held or perceived root causes of our broken or weakened brotherhoods, and what Ustad from this beginning ayah would like us to know, as the first impression, what it makes to you, and inshallah we can ask our brothers. Okay, brother Hikmet or brother Nazif, would you like to give us your first impression from these ayah, inshallah?
Assalamu alaikum. Maybe Nazif Abi can start if he's available, or I can start.
You can go ahead, Nicolas, please.
I just wanted to start with this. This is a great part of Risale that actually that is helping us to just organize our social life, and not only like brothers, but also that outside as well. That's my understanding, and it's just right now that telling us what we need to do, how we need to just treat our brothers, and actually that how we can elaborate that our social life and rules and regulations. And this is how I see that this part actually that in all these ayats is clearly telling us that number one job that we need to do is just help our brothers to reconcile and help them to just forget about the some kind of like dispute, discord, or other activities that is going to hurt each other's feelings and heart. which heart in the next aspects, it is going to clearly say that it's just like a Kaaba, and hurting somebody's heart is just hurting that iman and a lot of things as well. And I just wanted to say that I learned that in the past that whatever it happens, I know that it is Muzammil, Surah Al-Muzammil, it clearly says that وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا يَقُولُونَ وَاهْجُرْهُمْ هَجْرًا جَمِيلًا. I know that the Hajran Jamila, meaning that you leave in a good manner. Instead of discussing or arguing, not the discussing, instead of arguing and then just disputing and saying bad things. And when you have like really anger, that is the last ayah is clearly telling us that if we can express our anger and forgive people, God loves those who do good. So that leave Hajran Jamila, that is just the last part of the word that I learned in the past as well that I wanted to share with everybody. Just leave with a good manner instead of disputing. And in first aspect and second aspect is clearly going to tell us that exactly what's happening. But I think that this all aspects is gonna help us to follow the rules and regulations God just determined, or just the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to how we need to treat our brothers, to have a healthy communication and a healthy life in social life. This is going to be one thing. Today's life, we know that we were been discussing a lot about the materialist thinking, and as well as that the thinking about the selfishness, and everybody is just thinking about themselves. And in that type of social life, it is easy to argue, it is easy to dispute, it is easy to release our angerness and to others. And but it is these three ayat is clearly telling us that instead of just arguing, or if we did that, we need to reconcile and then help them each other and forgive each other because of the number of reasons in the first aspects. And the second aspect is going to clearly tell us that we know that our God is one, and everything is one really. And so that we need to understand that for one or two aspects of our activities that is causing some kind of dispute or discord is nothing. And there's going to be a lot of examples anyways. That this is all I want to say right now. And everybody is just like in social life, and you get out and look at it and talk to people, they're all going to just think about the materialist things, and then their selfishness is number one thing. And the other thing is that especially for young generation, they don't want to talk. Instead, they want to be quiet, and then they feel like they are all alone as well. So in this type of social life, like forgiving each other and just being patient for a number of things that our brothers is doing, or in the other places as well, in the social life as well. And the human being is just treating us totally differently. Just being patient and just expressing our angerness and just forgiving people, and because of the number of other things that they have in their spiritual life or the body as well and social life. And we need to forgive people and just move on. I love that this part, especially that they telling us how we can regulate or follow the procedures and in social life, in starting from our family, seed family, and then as well as whole social life in the current life that we are in. This is all I want to say, inshallah. I can listen to other brothers.
Thank you very much, Hikmet Hocam. Very good points you try to bring to our attention from these ayah. Yeah, I mean, you are right that we should not, I think, overlook or undervalue the challenges between two brothers, or as you said, within the family. Because when you look at from the core, right, this is like spreading to communities, to cities, to countries in a big scale. So if we consider like the whole Muslim Ummah, Ustad said actually in the next page, Islam, which is the greatest humanity, or like if we think it as a one body, like 2 billion almost people, and yeah, we have suffering here and there, but some of the things which is like a virus or diseases, although it is looking very small, it can spread all over the place and can make the whole body malfunctioning. Meaning, like, let's say if I want to do an annual checkup in a hospital, they take just a small bit, small like blood, and they do many tests. Do you have a cholesterol? Do you have diabetes? And many things may appear over there. So maybe what is happening in Gaza, about 2 million people, their life is very valuable, but as if like it's a check for the whole humanity and primarily for the believers, how we are going to act. Because if we consider our brothers our real brothers and make dua also for them, and also, these wars may come, start, and finish, and another things might happen. So the internal challenges within us, our relationship with Allah, and also our relationship, as you said, Hikmet Hocam, our good behaviors, good manners to other people are quite critical for a healthy society. And this is also what Allah is emphasizing. And we have to make peace among the brothers when it is also in the early stages, right? We cannot make this thing bigger or longer than, let's say, 3 days, right? There are also certain conditions. But thank you very much for your initial observations. And I would like to ask also Nazif Hocam, would you like to add anything?
Oh, just a couple things. Yeah, thank you so much for all the just the comments and everything. So, and like to just to point out that only just the fact that we need just to be clear. So today, inshallah, we're going to be talking about brotherhood. So and the beginning. So and here's the one of the most important kind of part that we need to, let's not look at the macro kind of problems that we're having, but I believe that it's just more kind of a micro aspect that Ustad Bediüzzaman is talking about. So I'd like to underline especially the part that it says among believers. So that is very important. So let's not just just scatter our thoughts and thinking into different kind of aspects that the problem that we're having. So I believe that it's more that we need to focus more on the believer side. So what's happening among the believer. I think that's why Ustad is emphasizing the fact that it's among believers, not among Muslims or between Muslims and some other non-believers or whatever. So then I would like to first let point out and emphasize, let's just make our examples and everything and our thinking among believers. Among, of course, I mean, I think in the Turkish one it says like among mu'min, right? So mu'minun. So it's müminlerde. So that's another kind of point. And the second one is that, and I also, why we are having these kind of problems is also, I would like to also emphasize another fact that step of Moses, right? So the fourth one that the study is also explaining that why it is very important that to be inside of the circle, right? Not the outside of the circle. So, and of course, I mean, it's not easy to maybe exclude ourselves or thoughts or our minds, especially as you pointed out at the beginning of the discussion that we're living in a very, very trying and maybe just tempting society and the times and ages. And of course, it is not easy to protect ourselves and protect our thoughts and minds to all the upcoming problems and the discussions and questions and everything. But then the most important in that fourth problem, the fourth treatise, I think in Step of Moses, you start talking about like the importance of the microsite. So what is happening within us, right? So if we just forget about that, focusing and dealing with our own problems and our own, the understanding, So when we start like dealing with the outside problems, so then that is the causing and effect. So that's like just how uh first of all we have to accept everything, just whatever that we are reading here, and or the other kind of problems that we our own kind of shortcomings. We need to fix that one first and then deal with the others. Our own life and our own family comes the most and the importance. So then of course, I mean, just whenever anything kind of happens in this conjecture, of course, I mean, it just affects the social life and the other problems that we're having among, again, among the believers, right? Among believers. So it's very important. That's what I wanted to, first of all, just to point out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nazif Hocam. Very important, as you said, underlining that to see in the small scale for the believers, how can we actually make this one implementing in my daily life as an individual and as the brothers around me. So if everyone cleans their home, the city or neighborhood will be clean. So we have to look at from the core rather than looking at the bigger scale, right? So thank you. And now maybe we can read the first aspect, because Ustad mentioned many different dimensions, and these dimension has critical points we have to consider it to convince us and also the believers, so that what we are going through when we make this kind of partisanship, obstinacy, or coetiousness, these are like really making a negative impact on our life. So how we can solve it? Let's start with the first aspect, and we can come back, inshallah, for further discussion. First aspect, it is oppression in the view of reality. O unfair person who harbors rancor and enmity against a believer, if you were on a ship or in a house with 9 innocent people and 1 criminal, you know what oppression a man who attempts to sink. That ship or burn that house will be committing. You could cry out to heavens against the oppression, even if there were 1 innocent person and 9 criminals, that ship would still not be sunk according to any rule of justice. Just like that, while there are not 9 but perhaps 20 innocent attributes, such as faith, Islam, and neighborhood, in the person of a believer, which is like a house of the Lord and the divine ship, if you were to attempt or desire to destroy and sink the metaphysical house of that body, to send it down and burn it in a metaphysical sense, by harboring him rancor and enmity due to a criminal attribute that is harmful to you and that you do not like, it will be a similarly wicked and cruel act of oppression. So this is very, critical, which 2 people, if they act this way, there might be a possibility of very big oppression. So let's get back to beginning of the first aspect. When we look at from the Hakika perspective, the view of reality, it is an oppression. So how do we understand this one? I mean, can we give some examples, maybe most in a small scale? Hikmet Hocam, anything comes to your mind to add here from the first aspect?
I was kind of thinking that Ustad already clearly explained that we cannot just do that because of the view of truth or reality. But I just wanted to say one thing: fidelity or adherence is important is here as well. So think about it. We can just do we can give number of examples, but if your brother is helping you all the time, there's an old saying in Turkish, you can carry one person in your shoulder. One day that you left him, and then he can just be angry at you, or just he's going to be completely enemy of you. So based on this old saying, I mean, this is not clearly telling us exactly, but if somebody or brother is doing a great thing for the whole life, but if he did, or if assume that he is just did something that is against what your agreement or what you think that he should do, instead of just completely arguing with him, just to clearly explain what your expectation is. That's what we were saying in the social life as well. And this is clearly what I believe, that yeah, these rules can apply to our social life as well, especially for that the brotherhood that in believers, among the believers. Brother Nazif was clearly explaining us that yes, this is completely that for among the believers, but you can apply these type of rules for whole social life as well. So that let's get back to the example that you can see that the brother is doing a great job in terms of everything that you are expecting. If he does one thing, or if he did one thing that against your agreement, or what you think that he should do, he should have done, instead of just completely arguing with him, that ship example is giving clearly that out of like a 90% of good things that he's been doing, or 51% that he's doing great, 49% is doing something is against you, we cannot just say, hey, this brother is good or bad or something. So whatever that we need to decide is just based on looking at overall, what is the percentage, not the percentage, I wouldn't just put it in a percentage, but maybe that because of the example that I can just say, everything is great, but one or two activities or actions that he's been doing is clearly a little bit against what you were thinking, for instance, or what you're thinking that is not really clearly following the rules that we need to follow. We can just talk to him, explain that what is should be done, instead of just arguing and just saying or completely eliminating him. In other parts, I will say, let's go back to the apply to the social life. Some people that argue, brothers argue, and they stop talking, not only him with him, but also he stops talking to all of his relatives, brothers and sisters and moms and dads, and that is valid and that is true currently right now as well. In Turkey, that for instance, in east part as well, middle part, sometimes that we argue with our brothers or neighborhood, and we can, after that you will see that people are telling each other, hey, stop talking to his brother is this way or that way. This is one thing that I wanted to give an example. So, and the other thing is that I was telling in the beginning, heart is the place of Allah, house of Allah. So I think we need to be really careful that how, if we are arguing or hurting his feeling or heart, really, this is one of the things that is important as well. In the past that we were talking, Allah created that person brother. That means that Allah loves him. Allah loves everybody, all livings, as Ali Abi was saying in the past. But we need to be careful that hurting his feeling or hurting his heart, that is just heart is the house of the place of Allah, which we need to clearly understand. But the feelings is going to be really clearly that it's important in terms of hurting him. So instead of just the one or two items, their actions or activities that he's been doing, and compared to all 98 to 80% of activities, or 51%, and in the hashir as well, that when we are just in the time, when the time comes, if your or our my sin is a little bit lower than my good things, good deeds and activities, inshallah, that's I hope anyways, Allah is going to forgive us, right? Inshallah. So it is not going to be like, hey, you did two things, depending on the we know that the kamiyat and kayfiyat as well, depending on the sins that we are or I've been doing. But it is important to understand that instead of just completely eliminating or canceling the brothers for one or two activities or 10 activities compared to all activities he's been doing. We cannot do that because of the view of this clear rule, procedures, or regulations. And SHIP example is clear to us as well that Ustad already gave us. This is all I can say right now. Inshallah, I can listen to other brothers.
Thank you very much, Hikmet Hocam, for your great insights to help us to understand better these first aspect. Yeah, I mean, when we look at our society, as you give example, we should be looking, as you said, Allah is very merciful. If your good deeds are higher than, let's say, the bad deeds, that person can be forgiven and, entering, inshallah, to Jannah with the mercy of Allah. So, and how can, like, we can cross out a brother, as you said, for the few mistakes he has done it. But Ustad is mentioning that there are a lot of innocent, actually, attributes which is making, like in the example of the ship, like, he has a faith, we believe in same Allah, we have the same prophet, the same neighborhood, like we are talking about maybe the close friends here, close believers. And if they have these kind of challenges and they have to look at the justice of Allah, and I think one of the challenge maybe we can elaborate with Nazif Hojam, the modern life and also through this modern education and also the nafs within us, they are pushing us to do this crossing. Because even in the big scale, I mean, this is maybe a triggering from the individual desires. If a community member does something, they want to eliminate the whole village. And this is wrong. I mean, if there is only one innocent person, according to the principle of the Quran, you cannot just destroy that house or that village or that ship, right? So very important, I think, to know this rule. Nazif Hocam, would you like to add anything, any examples you can share with us?
Um, sure, I'll do my best. Yeah, thanks a lot. That it reminded me just like when you guys were talking about that. Thanks a lot. So all these examples and comments. That just only one thing that just came to my mind to begin with is that there is no promise that we have been given that life is going to be very easy, and of course, I mean, we're not going to be tried. Allah Almighty is going to tempt us, and of course, I mean, He's going to try us, and this is an arena of trial, and we will be tested. And this is basically just one of the most important tests that we're going to go through every day. And as you guys are going to point it out clearly, those great examples from Parajam and from you, and how we should treat one another. And as you just pointed out, so this is also clearly just gives another kind of just our approach to our social life, right? So and we have many, of course, I mean, just hats that we have, right? So you are who you are at work, and at home you're a husband or maybe father or this and that. So just many, but then just so even in that moment, right? So we should always carry, like you guys pointed out, so just the heart. So, and that means like it is we need to be a conscious person to achieve that level. So then we need to feed our spirit, right? Our soul with like good things. And one of them is, of course, I mean, Quran and our own just readings and whatnot, right? Attending all these great halakas and meetings and everything to remind one another. And that means like we need to just continuously feed our own, of course, I mean, just spirit, so then we can just achieve that sort of kind of level. And then like never forget that we will be tested from our brothers and this and that. So like there's many kind of like people around us. But of course, among brothers is very important. I guess Ustad Bediüzzaman gives different examples in different parts of Risale, and that just why we are going through this is because of ikhlas, right? So to achieve that sort of kind of level, first of all, we have to have this huvat. I think that's what the brotherhood is about, right? So if we can just form this nice brotherhood, so this brotherhoodship, then inshallah, so that means like, we're going to enlarge our heart, right? So it's so big that we are going to start, like, and it's been, of course, maybe just showing some sort of kind of mercifulness, like to some different brothers, just because of their, like, just one or two kind of mistakes or shortcomings. We cannot just completely just delete them from our life, or maybe just show some sort of kind of enmity. So like that's why, like, I guess like you guys clearly pointed out the fact that just Allah Almighty is the one who's creating all of us, right? So then my first job is to show mercy, and of course, just love. But then how to achieve that sort of kind of level of love is that means, like, now, first of all, I have to go back and fix my shortcomings and fix myself and improve my iman, right? Again and again. So then I can accept all brothers as who they are, and then start loving them and start seeing their good side of it, right? Always looking in the good side. So yes, life is not going to be easy, but yes. And then so the test is going to be a little kind of difficult, but then even for that difficulty, we have a great tools and right in front of us, right? So then just which makes that hardship a lot easier, inshallah, for all of us that to share these great comments and everything, and of course continue reading Quran and understanding, and inshallah, may Allah help us to practice them. So that's what I see from this maybe first aspect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nazif Hocam. You also mentioned that the sincerity, I think, in the Risale-i Nur collection, when we look at it, sincerity and brotherhood concept are interrelated and very close to each other. Because if we think like the Islam as its ruling and the teachings, there are two big categories. Like the one is the relationship with Allah, that person, and the relationship with Allah, and the relationship with the creation and primarily the human being, like our good manners, good akhlaq. That thing is emphasizing a lot. So our relationship with Allah, which is pointing to the sincerity, how sincere we are, how we can tolerate for the sake of Allah. And the uhuwa is looking more our relationship like good manners to the brothers. So if someone really in a high sincerity level, they are doing only to please Allah, then their brotherhood will be the real hakiki brotherhood. So any challenges comes to them, they can be more forgiven, they can tolerate, okay, they may not show any envy. And I think in the first introduction, if you remember, the point Ustad is trying to make, the hypocrisy and the discord among the believers, mu'min, as well as the enmity and hatred, which is caused by the partisanship, underlying obstinacy, and envy. So these are inherently and fundamentally wrong. Ustad is trying to prove this. It is fundamentally wrong, it is harmful, it is unjust, it is poisonous for the whole human life, according to the view of truth, according to the view of wisdom, and the supreme humanity, which is Islam, our personal life, social life. Ustad will explain all of them in the common aspects, but how important, this sincerity and also the brotherhood, we have to, I think, try to do more reflection on this. Thank you very much. And inshallah, if there is any other brothers who would like to add, if we can listen, or if not, we can inshallah start the second aspect.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Ali abi.
Brother has summarized as soon as I entered the lesson from the third point of the 13th flash of the flashes. But if possible, if you wish, we can read from its place. It is not long from the 13th flash. It is explaining very well the first point of this we are reading now. Third point, brother has indicates the ayat also. But here we can see from the 13th flash, if you wish, or otherwise, if it is enough, we can continue second aspect. Up to you.
If you found it,
yes,
Ali
yes,
abi,
I am
yes.
now reading. I see now. Yes, can I read?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes,
Ali.
third point of the 13th flash, as I said, brother has very beautifully summarized. Now, but I am reading, inshallah, from its place because it's short. Third point, a satanic while corrupting the life of society is this. It is not to see all the virtues of a believer on account of a single bad point. Those unjust people who heed this wile of Satan are inimical to believers in that way. However, very important to remember, however, when Almighty Allah weighs up deeds with absolute justice on the supreme scales, Mahkeme-i Kübra, at the last judgment, supreme scale Mizan, at the last judgment, he will judge in accordance with the predominance of good deeds over evils, and vice versa. And since the causes of evil deeds are numerous and their existence is easy, sometimes also, so very important, sometimes he veils many bad deeds with a single good deed. That is to say, dealings in this world should be in accordance with divine justice. That is to say, dealings in this world should be in accordance with divine justice. If a person's good points are greater in regard to quality or quantity than his bad points, the man is deserving of love and respect. Indeed, one should forgive numerous bad points on account of a single valuable virtue. However, due to the vein of tyranny in his nature and through the promptings of Satan, man forgets the hundreds virtues of a person because of a single bad point. He is hostile towards his believing brother and commits sins. Like a fly's wing covering the eye conceals a mountain. Like a fly's wing covering the eye conceals a mountain. So too, due to the veil of hatred, man conceals virtues as great as a mountain due to one evil like a fly's wing. He forgets them, is hostile towards his brother believer, and becomes a tool of corruption in the life of society. Becomes a tool of corruption. Serious warning, serious problem in the life of society. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ali Abi. This is really expanding the meaning of this first aspect. It's more explanation from the Risale-i Nur. Thanks for sharing. Is there any other brothers who would like to add? Please, you are more than welcome. If not, inshallah, we can start the second aspect. Anyone? Okay, Bismillah. So let's start the second aspect. It is oppression in the view of wisdom too. For as it is known, enmity and love are opposites like light and darkness. They cannot be combined while preserving their true meanings. If love really exists in a heart per the preponderance of its causes, then enmity becomes metaphorical and turns into pity. Yes, a believer loves his brother and should love him, but he only feels pity for his brother's bad qualities. He tries to amend the ways of his brother with gentleness, not by subduing him. This is why, according to the clear injunction of the Hadith, a believer should not cut relations with another believer and stop talking to him for more than 3 days. If the causes or enmity prevail and it exists in a heart with its reality, then love becomes metaphorical and takes on the form of affectation and flattery. O unfair man, now look, what oppression is in rancor and enmity against your believing brother, as you would be in such ugly insanity if you were to suggest that small pebbles are more important than the Kaaba and bigger than Mount Uhud, just like that, while many qualities such as faith, which deserves respect like the Kaaba, and Islam, which has the tremendous of Mount Uhud, demand love and agreement, you would understand, you would have intellect that it is unfair and insane to the same degree and a grave form of oppression to prefer some shortcomings that cause enmity against a believer, but are in effect like ordinary pebbles over faith and Islam. Yes, the unification of faith surely demands the unification of the hearts. And the unity of creed calls for unity in society. Yes, you cannot deny that by being in the same battalion with a man, you would have a sense of genial attachment to him, and because you are together under the same commander's command, you would feel a friendly relation to him. In that case, there are as many attachments of unity, bonds of agreement, and relations of brotherhood as the divine names that the light and consciousness of faith show and make known to you. For example, both of your creator, Al-Khaliq, is one. Owner, Al-Malik, is one. Worshipped one, Al-Ma'bud, is one. Provider, Al-Raziq, is one. One up to a 1001. Also, your prophet is one. Your religion is one. Your Qibla is one. One up to 101. Then your village is one, state is one, country is one, up to 10, 1. While so many ones call for unity and unification, accord and agreement, love and brotherhood, and there exists between you metaphysical chains with which the cosmos and planets could be connected, you will understand, if your heart is not dead and intellect extinguished, what a disrespect to that bond of unity, disdain to those causes of love and oppression, and injustice against those relationships of brotherhood it will be to prefer spiderweb like insignificant and impersistent things that cause division, discord, rancor, enmity, and thus harbor real enmity and rancor against a believer. Yes, this is a little long one. Let's get back to the beginning of the second aspect. Also, this is an oppression in the view of wisdom. And we start explain, this enmity, love relationship, and other aspects, inshallah. I would like to turn to our panelists and our brothers. If you want to, give your insights, contributions, please. Hikmet Hocam, are you available for your, comments?
This is a long one. I will just maybe that mention the one part, especially in the first part, then I can listen to other brothers. And what I wanted to say is that clearly that this is telling us that if you love your brothers or in your family, seed family, that core family, that think about it. And today I will give one example that today there's a lot of, in our society and everywhere, there's a lot of divorce happening. That means that what I was always saying, that there is no love and mercy, so that everything, every single thing is going to be big for you. Like every single small thing is going to be just shown as a big bad thing for you. So this is Adabi just read it in flashes. That is clearly that the one single fly and or a single tiny thing is going to be like a big mountain in your eyes when it's closer. And if you lose your love to your brother or person that you are together, or your wife or your husband or your son or your daughter, it is the same thing. If you lose your mercy and other things, every single thing is he's doing, even though it's really small compared to everything he's been doing, is going to be a big mountain, and it's going to be a really big against or to you, or it seems like it's a really big bad thing to you. And I heard the one story that I don't know right now, but I just wanted to say that they were saying that my son is doing this. What do I need to is doing, for instance, if he's not doing good things that when I ask him to do, and what would you like to do? And everybody was saying, hey, I would definitely warn him or warn her, and then what you do, and I can just say, hey, strongly just warn him, and then later on that somebody said, hey. What would you do at the end that he's still not listening to you? Then I would maybe just clearly slap him. And I believe that they asked Ustad as well, and then he said I would get out and then start laughing, start crying, and making him dua. So today, that I believe that everybody's sons, wives, and daughters and husband is doing some little things. If you lose the muhabbat, meaning that the love, mercy, shafqat, then everything that your son, your wife, and your daughter is doing is going to be a big thing. So the clear rules for me that my understanding is just to start making dua for him, make just help him clearly, just not hurtingly, help him or facilitate how you can or how he can do the good things or change his attitude. This is number one thing that I wanted to mention. And it is clear that the Prophet Muhammad SAW already said that believers shouldn't be angered to each other or one another and cease speaking to him for more than 3 days. Even if you see brothers that are not talking and facilitating, helping them in the beginning of the ayah, if you remember that you read it, and we need to place and help them to start communicating and try to solve or resolve their issues, which is going to be little tiny things maybe in the beginning. And this is a great example, like small stones can be just if you think about it like a Kaaba, that means that you are making a big bad things or justice or big assessment. That's what I wanted to say as well. And yeah, our ownership and providers and everything provider is just the same, and thousand times that the creator, owner, and sustainer is just one, Allah. So we need to understand that. And in the beginning of the first aspects, we already said that heart is the house of Allah, house of the God, so that we need to be careful that hurting him or her when we think about it. And again, that in the flashes that we already read that in the seed family as well, there is no clear justice. We cannot just for everything that we cannot treat everybody as just. We need to be like have some kind of mercy for our son, daughter, and wife, and mom and dad, and everybody. And in the if you go a little further, that for all brothers, and if you go all these social life, all city, and then wherever that your working environment platform as well, that we need to understand that there is no clear whole justice that we can follow or you can go for it. Then you can make big mistake. So you have to have, especially in your family, you have to have a marhamat and shefkat. This is a clear thing because of the number of reasons. In believers, among the believers, and it's clear that our provider is one, and sustainer is one, and thousand times one, and one, and our prophet is one, and so that our Kaaba and Qibla is one. So that's what we need to understand. And having that small, tiny mistakes or stones shouldn't just affect us and make us that angry to others or brothers, and just completely cancel out or cross out all brothers and sisters or son and daughter. I see that the number of families, they just got rid of their son here as well. In Turkey, I saw that as well. So when you talk to them, you can just say, hey, you can think about it. You cannot clearly tell them, but just try to facilitate and help them out. And today is one of the biggest issue that I want to bring it out again, and everybody's complaining about that, the divorce rate. If you look at it, it's really huge and high. And one of the reasons is that we can clearly tell that we cannot treat, like, even divine treatment and justice is completely different. Ali Abi was reading in the flashes, remember 13 flashes? It is clear that we cannot treat the people, wife or husband or son and daughter or brothers, in social life as well, that 100% justice. We need to keep in mind that without hurting, that we need to facilitate everything and resolve the issues that they have or we have with our brothers. I think that I talked too much. It's time, I guess. This is all I can hear. Other brothers, Salam alaikum.
Thank you very much, Hikmet Hocam, for your great insights. It's very helpful to understand. And also, if you say, you said that, the love and enmity, if the love exists in someone's heart truly, then the enmity, as you said, turns into metaphorical, like, it's like a mercy, right? You feel like a pity to your brother rather than showing like a real enmity. But if the enmity exists in a heart, in the true sense, then the love become like a fake or maybe like metaphorical. So in this case, I think maybe hypocrisy or any different dimensions is coming into play also. May Allah preserve us. Thank you very much. Any other brothers who would like to say the final words, because we are about to finish our session? Nazif Hocam, would you like to make the final points?
Just a couple things. I think we're out of time, but yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, just these are great comments and everything from just Hikmet Hocam and from you, from Ali Hocam. Really enjoyed, and the only just thing that just always, as you guys like to mention, so always have the prayer. And inshallah, and never forget about just improving our knowledge and iman, and inshallah, as Berizaman said, yeah, Ustad pointed out, just like the consciousness, right? So we should always have that. And at the end, of course, I mean, just we should never forget the meaning of the word, right? So the Muslim, as we just pointed out at the beginning, so this is among mu'min. So among the believers, so and one of the most important kind of points that, or just maybe levels that we need to reach, is just become a conscious, a very conscious like a Muslim, meaning that, so like we need to know when to basically submit, right? So Muslim is just one that was submitting. And then we need to learn how to that, just that we cannot fix everything around us. But then at the end, so we should also try to like and just see the big picture, right? So Allah is the one who is controlling everything, and there is also qadar. So at the end, so just but always have the prayer. So just always and always, as you pointed out. So if you cannot fix some kind of stuff and everything, so just have some pity. So just keep praying for him or anyone like who is a believer like you, and then always know when to accept it. So that's my kind of final comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nazif Hocam. Ali Abi, would you like to make the
Yes,
final
yes,
dua?
Yes, shortly, I'd like to share.
Yes.
In fact, you have stated my understandings in some place as you're explaining. With relation Almighty Allah, with relation the servants to duties we have, in this aspect, especially in the last paragraph, inshallah, perhaps in the next lesson a little we can discuss. It is clear, but to discuss becomes better, inshallah. To break a relation with believers because of his bad deeds leads the believer to disrespect the manifestation of the names of Almighty Allah. There is strong relation between and to respect the rights of Allah, to respect the rights of servants. And these two duties are looking to each other. There is a problem. If there is a problem in one aspect, this contains that there is problem in another aspect, or this leads problems to another aspect. I think in the last paragraph, we can be discussed. It can be discussed, inshallah, in the next lesson from this point of view. From this point, yes.
Inshallah.
Yes.
Please, Ali, we can, you can make the dua for
Yes.
the family.
سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا لا تجعلنا مع القوم الظالمين ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للذين كفروا واغفر لنا ربنا إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم ربنا آمنا بما أنزلت واتبعنا الرسول فاكتبنا مع الشاهدين اللهم بحق سورة الإخلاص اجعلنا من عبادك المخلصين المخلصين آمين لله تعالى الفاتحة